What do we do when people can't do their jobs? We get rid of them, I'm afraid. We may do this in a very dramatic way, and we may do this in a less dramatic way. But in the end, we make a decision. If somebody isn't doing his or her job, then they go. And the management of the NHS is clearly not working. All those bureaucrats who have paid so much money to do what? To make the NHS work. And they have failed. They have failed to pay people a fair wage. They have failed to ensure that the NHS delivers at the point of need, from cradle to grave. Now, one could say this is actually the government's responsibility, which I think it is. And the government should take responsibility. Instead, the government is deflecting, is distracting by talking about anti-strike laws. It doesn't matter whether people strike or not. It doesn't matter because the system still doesn't work. The system wasn't working before the strike. The system certainly isn't working during the strike. The system isn't working. There's a story today about Martin Clark, who was 68, who had a heart attack and couldn't get to a hospital. And the ambulance took over 45 minutes to arrive. His wife eventually took him in a car. I know that wait. I also waited for hours when I was hemorrhaging. The ambulance doesn't come, not in any timely way. When it comes, it's great, fine. But it can't come because there aren't enough beds in the hospitals, and while there are no beds, people can't be taken in from the ambulances into A&E, or at least that's the story. Well, the system is broken. And if the system is broken and the bureaucrats cannot fix it, then the bureaucrats really need to go. That's the start of the clean-up of the NHS. To get rid of the bureaucrats who aren't doing their job. Because if they were doing their job, we wouldn't have strikes. If they were doing their job, nurses would be paid a proper living wage. If they were doing their job, nurses and doctors would be able to park in order to do their job. No. All of this is about distraction. And the government, to talk about anti-strike laws at this moment, and to ignore the fact that the system still isn't working and wasn't working before the strike, is to be mendacious. I am appalled. I'm appalled at the stories that are coming out and at the government's response, which is pathetic. We need better action, and we need proper, concerted repair. The NHS is on its knees. The rail service is on its knees. The teaching system is on its knees. Why? Because the bureaucrats are not doing their job. If the bureaucrats are not doing their job, they need to go.